And good morning, everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is your Wednesday wrap-up. And, of course, I am joined every Wednesday by my man Herb and, of course, Mr. U. How you doing, gentlemen?
Good morning, guys. How's it going, man?
It's a beautiful day.
Absolutely. Right. So, it's bright and early here on the West Coast. Be sure to grab some coffee and, helps keep this show going. So if you're a coffee company and you want to sponsor our show, we highly appreciate it.
Put it in here. Get in my
belly. Definitely.
Right?
Get in my belly.
Absolutely. So how's your guys' week going?
Absolutely nuts. But I'm working, so it's a good thing. It's crazy.
Working's good.
Working's good.
Probably relatively quiet then compared to Mr. U. But he is a legend and a superstar, though. So us mere mortals, we're just having regular weeks.
That's right.
Is there any kind of pay increase with this new status that you say?
No.
No pay increase?
No.
Generally not, right?
Yeah. I think when Spider-Man became Spider-Man, like his money actually went down. Man, you just got to fit all in. Sorry, bro.
That's right. Iron Man just lost money the whole time.
Yeah.
Wow. You're super
hate to be the one to break it to you.
You're super thoughtful and sucks. I'm going to give it back to you. You have to take it back.
All right. So this week in sports, obviously, we kicked this thing off. O.J. Simpson passes away. Not that I think a lot of people are broke up that much about it. Obviously he had an amazing football career, and then his life took a weird turn right after that.
That's putting it mildly.
Right. He goes from being in the NFL, Hall of Famer, into movies and endorsements and all of that. And then, of course, there's the trial, and then going to jail for stealing his own memorabilia from Vegas, and it just weird things. And so what brings this up is the family denied the ability to test his brain for CTE. And at the end of the day, it's a family decision, right? So, you can't really hate on him for that. But from a science standpoint, it would have been interesting to see what that looked like, because I would have to imagine that was a factor, or at least you would kind of hope it was a factor, right? Because his life
he was doing that on his own,
like a wild right turn. It was just like, all right, everything's going cool. I'm doing a lot of good things. I'm just gonna do this now.
Yeah.
But so he ended up cremated yesterday in Vegas, and so not going to be able to check that out. But I don't know. I think it would have been. I think it would have been a good thing had they allowed it.
I would have let it happen. I think just because. I mean, almost. I don't even know how to sensibly put it. You would have loved to have some other explanation for anything else that he did, right? Or like you're probably at that point where you're like, we just need a scapegoat that's not us. So let's blame anything else. I'm kind of surprised that they were just like, it could be the standpoint of, look, we just all want this all to go away, so let's just move on. So I guess I see that.
That's what I was thinking. Is they're just like, you know what? Let's just make it be done.
Yeah.
Right. And that's it. So I get it from that aspect, but from I don't know how much more you would learn just from him. So it's not like it stifled progress, as far as studying CTE or anything like that. But again, just because of how wildly his life changed, would have been interesting to see. That's like, another one that probably won't allow it to happen, but should is, Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Did that perfect hit really do the deal?
I feel like his was more just because I don't know. It's like, I guess because you're seeing it play out more, and it just seems almost wilder from a standpoint of like what's going on now. OJ seemed like he waited a while and then just said, you know what, I'm going to have this really terrible event and it's going to kick off like the rest of my life as a downfall, versus Antonio Brown's not even getting that far out. He's just like, you know what, we're going crazy now. So I could see it. It's weird as it might be to say, I feel like Antonio's Brown's behavior has been wilder at this point because I guess I'm seeing it play out versus, I can point back to one event that kind of drug OJ down and then started the whole downfall.
Yeah, I guess with Antonio Brown, it was a lot of self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Right. With OJ, yeah, you have your major event that, derails your life. I mean, that can happen. But I mean, doubling down and doing stupid stuff beyond that, like that's still solidly on you. But
and let me be clear: the event didn't happen to him; he was the event. So it is wildly accepted that he was the event, and then that happened because of him, regardless of what the courts may say. So.
Yes.
Yeah. This is wild for a lot of reasons for me. I mean, I'm with you guys that I'm surprised the family didn't want to look at this, because if it was me, I'm like, I want a great reason for why this happened.
Right.
This is not, and they've been pretty dogmatic about the fact that this is a different person that they saw in those latter years and who the gentle person that they knew. So that should be strong impetus to do something about that and say, you know what? We want to prove what we always believed. So to not do that is very, very strange. To think it's going to make things go away is it's not really reasonable, because you still got some cases out there with the Goldman family and stuff, and they're still dealing with that, and they are crushed by the loss of their loved one. Yeah. That ain't going nowhere whether you get a CTE scan done or not. So I don't think it's realistic for them to say, you know what, we just want this to all go away. It's not going away, because there's still pending stuff still happening. So it's
right. Wasn't it the day after it happened, something happened with the lawsuit, right? To your point, that came out too as well. Yeah. So to your point, you're right. It's not going to go. So
I didn't even know that. What?
Yeah. I think they were trying to deny the next $33 million payment or something like that.
Yeah, they won't get the money that I guess was supposed to be due in a previous case. I guess something.
Right.
This is ugly in a whole bunch of ways, but the part that gets me that people don't talk about that much is the whole race civil rights part. That's a big deal, because he was kind of force fed to the African American community as some kind of a symbol of hope for us, some standard of how African Americans should be. He was force fed. I mean, when I say force fed, that's exactly what I mean. Because nobody didn't really want that. Nobody saw him as being a juice on the field with the Bills. That was one thing. I mean, I guess it's a Hall of Fame career. Can't really knock that part. But as far as him being a symbol in the community, because he wasn't a civil rights activist, he wasn't a role model. Didn't want to be. Matter of fact, he went as far away from that as possible. He was chasing women. Sure. And doing his own thing, and he wasn't concerned about any of those things that they try to put on him. So the pressure he was probably dealing with, along with his own internal stuff, I can only imagine where his head was at, over the years. And then he gets smacked around on the football field. It's like that probably made it even extra worse. So I would love to have seen that scan and just kind of see what was going on in there, because he's not Jackie Robinson or Muhammad Ali or Joe Louis. He's OJ Simpson, and that's that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, not every athlete is cut out to be that type of leader anyway. I mean,
most aren't. I mean, that's a lot. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because along the racial lines, it's like when the trial happened and he got off, it's like a lot of African Americans were, excited about we beat the system. But you look back and not a single one of them is defending him to this day. We're all like, I was talking with a friend the other day. I was like, you think he did? He's like, yeah. I was like, see what I mean? At the time, it was billed as something, to your point, Mr. It was just billed as something that it's not, he was billed as something he wasn't, and that's just kind of.
It made sense at the time, though, right? Because that was right after Rodney King, right? So, I mean, it made sense that it got billed that way as, beat the system after Rodney King had his. Incident, we'll say,
right?
So I mean, yeah, but then when you look at, of course, we all watched the trial in real time, so it was just like, oh yeah, I mean, you're watching it and you're like, yeah, this dude did it.
Yeah.
I think there's so much we could talk about, but I think just for me, it's like this is a great reminder. I don't know if it's going to help anybody in 2024 because people got their own minds about stuff nowadays, but I think it'll really help if you pay attention to this. This is a great life lesson for you. Some people can't handle fame.
Right.
People can't handle having that kind of influence and that kind of responsibility. It turns them into different people.
Yeah,
and they can't handle the pressure of it. And if you hear the stories about people who were introduced into their wives, and their wives are totally naked, and that's how they introduced their own wife to him. It's like this is the lifestyle he was living in. This is the world he was living in. It was like hooking up with women and stuff. This was just, he was in a whole different world, and I don't think he can handle it. So he was enjoying it. I don't think he can handle what came with it and stuff. This is a cautionary tale if I ever heard one.
Yeah.
So this is not.
Yeah. Because
this is not pretty. It's not cute. It's nothing cool about this. This was a mess.
Yeah. After the trial, he just he got, most people, you have something that magnitude, you essentially get away with it. You're like, okay, let me maybe low profile or let me ride this. And he just went the total opposite direction. And it was just like more of a train wreck. I mean, it was the book, he coming up book, If I Had Done It, I was like, who is greenlighting this stuff? Like, what are you doing? And it just got, anybody who supported him at that time was just like, okay, let me distance myself from this because you are on a train. It was just heading downhill. It was just, it was just wild.
He almost went into it as, I didn't get caught for that. What else can I do?
Right.
It's like, man, I feel like a capital murder is good enough. I feel like you're good, man. That's probably enough.
I didn't get it at all. It was really just sad to watch it play out, to be honest.
All I remember is just, I remember most of his hand with the gloves on.
That was hilarious.
Trying to squeak. Where's the glove? I'm like, seriously, man?
And of course, the Johnny Cochran, if the glove don't fit,
you must have quit.
I mean, the glove guy can fit to me.
Yeah.
He tried to waste it on him like, you kidding me? This is really happening? Is this going to work? And I had a different view of the justice system once I saw this happen. I said, people with influence can do whatever they want, can't they?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I walked away with. That was my takeaway. As a young person.
That's nothing new, though. If you have enough zeros in your bank account, you can finesse your way out of a lot of stuff.
It's new for the black community, brother.
Yes. That's why
wasn't commonly with us.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, like, Chris Rock came out afterwards and in his comedy special, he was like, that wasn't about race. He said it was about greed. He said, because if OJ wasn't rich, he'd be a Renthal, the bus driving murderer. He said, but he had a lot of money and a lot of influence. And kind of like we were talking about earlier, people loved him. So like they weren't going to get, I mean, they had to have an airtight, and they let that little part of the glove seep into people's mind. And I think the cop that was in there too. I'm sorry, we probably get too much. Anyway.
No. I mean, the thing that's funny about it is even gloves that fit, if you move your hand right, it won't fit.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was interesting that they didn't allow CTE. Obviously, we jumped down the rabbit hole a little bit with OJ because he's just a crazy character.
Well, one thing too, do you guys think they didn't want it in case they didn't find CTE and then they didn't have another excuse? Like, does that play into it at all?
Maybe they didn't want another DNA sample because there's more bodies.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
You never know.
And just on the football tip, we did this with this poll that we did last week. Not many folks had him in their all-time running back poll. Now, I thought it was because of the incidents. Well, some of them were because of what he did. Sure. They pulled him out of the poll because of that, and even told me so in the comments. You can find it right there on X. It's not hidden at all. You know what I'm saying, but I didn't have him in my top 10 poll. I didn't.
Right.
Because when I do polls like that, I'm looking at all the errors that I've seen. I don't go back to the 50s and the 60s. I go back to the 70s to now, what I've actually seen. You know what I'm saying, and he don't make the cut. Hall of Fame career, but he don't make the cut as far as top 10 goes. So, I mean, I don't know if that's a part of the legacy for him, but for me, I'm looking at him like, you know what? Great player, Hall of Famer, most known for being in Buffalo, but that's kind of where it ends for me. This other stuff just made it kind of muddy the waters a lot, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I think off the field stuff definitely tarnishes things you accomplished on the field, right? Mm-hmm. It's why T.O. wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, right? Because he just had too much off the field weirdness. Yep. Antonio Brown, although his numbers are great and there's, potentially could be argued to be in the Hall of Fame, he doesn't get in.
I got to see this.
No, I mean,
I got to see that work because I got
there's just no way he gets in. There was too much crazy around the human that they're going to ignore the numbers, right? Because he had good numbers, and he was very dominant.
It sounds like the Hall of Fame won't put you in if they got something present going on, but they won't take you out if something happens after.
Once you're in. Look, once you walk through the doors, they lock the doors and you can't get back out. That's how it happens.
I know. But I wish I was in there just about a minute.
Yeah. If he had gotten in before they found anything, he'd have been fine. So
I mean, that's all I agree. So that's all the Hall of Fames because Major League Baseball, right?
Oh, true.
If you were in the roid era, you don't get in. But if you are in and they found out you did roids, you're still in. Yeah. They're not yanking you out. Right?
I'm not even sure Barry Bonds even needed to do any roids, to be honest.
No, he was a great hitter beforehand. That's
he was historic before that even happened. I think his downfall, I guess you want to call it that, was just his desire to recover faster than what his body was.
Right.
I mean, realistically, Mark McGwire didn't need to either. Like he was a good hitter. He
wasn't mashing, man. He didn't need. He wasn't mashing.
Yeah, he wasn't launching bombs like he was when he was on roids. But I mean, he was a great hitter. Right. Still hit a lot of bombs, right. And it's funny that people make maybe he wasn't doing it. It's like his arms were cannons. Like, who are you kidding? We watched him his whole career, and then all of a sudden, his arms double in size. Like this is not rocket
and his
science.
Head. I mean, there's a lot of evidence. When your head starts growing, it's like it's time to be concerned. You know your hat's don't fit.
Yeah, like how many of the roids was he? He was doing all the roids.
He was doing all the roids.
He wasn't sharing with anybody.
They were like, take one of these. Take one. No.
One. Why a woman I can do 10? Yeah. I don't know what was happening with that, but
yeah. So I don't have enough time.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, imagine if McGwire and Canseco were doing that when they were with the A's. That'd have been a way different team, right? Because they were already the Bash Brothers. Now imagine if they're hitting at 530. Be amazing.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
All right. So your Michigan football team. They do get some sanctions coming down. Really just a slap on the wrist. Nothing really interesting, right? Like they get 3 years of probation. They get some recruiting sanctions that haven't even really been outlined yet. And then a fine, which, who cares? And that was for the recruiting thing where they, bought the kid a hamburger and, talked to him early, right? Like nothing egregious. So the other thing that, obviously Harbaugh was suspended at the end of the year. That's still under investigation. Sounds like there could still be some stuff coming down from that, which ultimately will probably also just be a fine in my mind. But what do you think about kind of what the NCAA is levying against Michigan? I mean, it doesn't affect bowl games. There's nothing like that.
But first off, I'm going to go on record. Ward Manning was a jerk. Let me just go ahead and start there. But after that, it seems as though Michigan comply with this is their exact words here. It says the school also agreed that it failed to deter and detect impermissible recruiting contacts and did not ensure that the football program adhered to rules for non-coaching staff members. Okay, so they own that part. But then I look further on in some of the other reports, and it's talking about a separate investigation for sign stealing and illegal recording surrounding former staff member Connor Stallions and everything. Okay. I'm at the point, man. It's like my timeline says differently, and I know that they want to have Michigan erased from the college football history, as if they never were there. They want to have everything they've ever done since the 1900s, when they were the most winningest program in college football history. They want everything erased and have them as if they never existed. But it's not realistic.
I mean, I feel like that's probably about 10,000 steps too far. But
yeah, I mean,
we went with the nuclear option. Apparently,
they are.
All of a sudden, you're out there with the gauntlet snapping.
They're in charge of the button because that's how they are. They have that mindset. They just want to press the red button and blow everything up. It's like it's not how things need to work. I'm at the point though where I'm kind of just exasperated with it. I mean, Harbaugh was 6 games he wasn't on the sidelines last year. I'm saying people say what they want to, but those you expect to win, but it's not a guarantee. Not in college football, anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? So like he's just basically got suspended for 6 games, I guess, and then all the other sanctions they had that year, and then this. I'm just like, man, how long are we gonna keep talking about this?
Well,
let's just move forward. If I would, it is fair to me to move forward at this point.
Well, no, but I mean, to be fair, like the first games he missed was self-imposed, right? Like he knew that
things all the time.
Coming.
Florida State did it. I think LSU did it.
No, I know, but I mean, it's not like that was levied by the NCAA, so it's not that wasn't going to be the finished product of whatever it is they were bringing down. So, I mean, yeah, it showed good faith, I guess. I don't know, but. Basically, it was like, I messed up. You got to do something so I don't look like a jerk. I mean, that's more or less how it comes across. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't going to be the end of it because it was a self-imposed thing and investigation was still underway.
And to speak to Roger's comment, I'm not saying NCAA trying to do that, man. That's not. I don't think I said that at all. I was saying to people on my timeline.
I thought that's what you exactly just said.
No, that's dumb. People on my timeline are because that's all they want.
Did you just say what I said was dumb? I sat here and listened to you say
it. I said the idea that is dumb.
Yes, no, but it's exactly what you said. You said they are trying to erase the history, and he says, I don't think they're trying to erase the history. He's like repeating what you said. It's on tape.
Man,
he's like literally quoting you.
And this is what you get bright and early on a Wednesday morning. And of course, my mom's stopping in, saying good morning.
Mom stopped by last night too, so we appreciate it.
Yeah. Chad, thanks for jumping in. John Marcus. And of course, happy birthday, Raj.
Happy birthday, brother.
So, yep.
Did you just skip over you having your own creek?
I did. The thing that's funny is you're kind of not wrong. That
we know.
So the place we rented, that actually is the backyard. That creek is in the backyard. So so not entirely wrong. I don't have my own waterfall, but there is a creek.
Yep. And he definitely did appreciate both y'all's messages, man. So, and I tried to text y'all. It was probably late when I texted you when I got off the show, but I texted you both yesterday. Thank you for doing it. So, definitely appreciated it.
No, of course. All right. So since we're talking about football and college football, we got the schools that Dion is allowing his kid to go to. We got the Eagles, Niners, Cowboys, Commanders, Ravens, and Falcons. So he is ignoring most of the league. This seems like a wild stance.
Yeah. These are the kind of stance that you take when your guys are going, there's 3 of them here. First off, Travis Hunter's not even your son, so I don't even know how you're controlling. Right. Like, I know he followed you to that school, but I'm thinking, like, does he have nobody in his corner that's like, we'll do what we want here? Second, these are the kind of power plays you pull if your kids and Hunter are going 1, 2, and 3, and you can control things. But Travis Hunter's probably your only one that's like definitely going first round, and that's unless something happens this next year or he really, really falls off just because of his skill set. The other 2, you have no idea. So I don't even like. That's just crazy. It's just crazy.
Unless Shedeur takes a huge step forward,
right?
Like I don't. He keeps trying to bill him as a number 1 overall pick. Like, I don't know if he goes in the first round. Right. I mean, so I feel like he needs to pump the brakes on how limited the locations are his kid can go, because this feels so much like the LeVar Ball thing where, the kid has talent, probably needs to sit for a year. If he does declare, maybe a mid first round, if he is a first round, right? If he takes that step forward, whatever. But then when you bring him in, you also are going to have to deal with his dad.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, well, how much of that headache do you want?
I would say none. Like, you know, like you said, unless you're going to be a top talent, like I'm not drafting somebody in the second round who's trying to hold out. Like, I don't get it, you know, and why would you even announce this? I mean, this is kind of like back channel stuff, whisper stuff, not like, hey, I'm going to announce this to the world a year before we even get out and a year before we even know what our status is. Like, it's like you said with LeVar Ball. And, you know, for LeVar Ball, his kids didn't seem to kind of go up draft boards until they like distanced themselves from him. You know, they had even like little public spat where like, Dad, you know, kind of stay out of my life and let me do my thing. And then you didn't hear from him for years. Deion's not going away. So I don't know. This would just make me shy away. Like, I don't think there's any team that's out there that's thinking like, oh, we don't get Shedeur, we're not going to win it all, you know, and especially the teams that you're in here whose quarterback situations will probably be like next year, you're going to be set, right, with all these teams with your quarterbacks, right? I mean, the Cowboys aren't going to let Dak go and then go draft Shedeur and think that's the answer. So.
No, I mean, I wouldn't think so. Now, I do think that Deion could potentially finesse his kid's way onto the Cowboys, right? And at the same time, they have to be in a spot to pick him up, right? Like, it's one thing to, you know, get your way out of the number one pick, right? Be like, okay, I just don't want to go to that team. Like, we've seen you be able to finesse your way out of a bad situation in that way.
Right.
You mean to tell me that you're somehow going to get 25 other teams to pass on you so you can go to the couple of teams that you like?
Right.
Like, get out of here with that. Like, that's not a real thing. Like, there's just bad franchises that exist that will take you regardless.
Yeah.
And what, you're just going to sit out? No. I mean, you know, we've seen what happens to quarterbacks when they sit out. They don't exactly come back awesome.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty crazy when I saw this drop with how few teams are on the list.
Yeah, and his original list was 5 teams. I noticed that a 6th team got added. That didn't get past me, so he added the Eagles to this list. I'm like, oh, the one team he didn't play for. I think. So the reports I've been seeing, that word "allowed," I think that's the part that's getting to me.
Right.
The allow part. I'm like, are you the coach and the agent as well? What do you mean allowed?
Right.
You're the gatekeeper.
Why do they need to? How can you really stop this? If this is going to go, if this is going to happen. Say, for instance, that Travis Hunter decides he doesn't want to be under your indentured servitude. Mm-hmm. How do you stop this? How do you stop him from getting drafted to a team that's not in this list? What do? Run out there and grab the card of the guy's hand before he gets to the podium? How do you stop this?
You run up on stage and you light that thing on fire. You're like, no.
I mean, and not get tackled by somebody, some gorilla back there behind the curtain. Right. How do you?
They wouldn't tackle him. It's Deion. Come
on. Why not? This is the NFL draft.
Optics. There's no way. There's no way they would do that. I mean, the ratings would be off the charts, but there's no way they do that.
Well, okay.
The thing that is hilarious about this list, though, right?
They'll send Will Smith out to smack him, stick him off.
That's what I was thinking. Nobody stopped that. That's exactly what I was thinking. Nobody stopped that.
Amazing. Okay. So the thing that I find hilarious about this list is his first list that came out was because he doesn't want his kid to play anywhere cold.
Right.
It's pretty damn cold in Philly. Like cold.
Right. Or in the playoffs, like I think you guys mentioned on the other show. Once his team makes the playoffs, his sons will quit. Okay, we're good. We'll see you next year.
That's right. Get that back up in here. Handoffs. Let's do this. This whole situation is just kind of wild to me because it doesn't make sense, and honestly, it makes it feel like he's going to fall down the draft board because people just don't want to deal with whatever crazy is about to happen here.
Right. For them to have to draft to deal with you, you're going to have to be spectacular. Like all he's done is make this year worse for them because of these kind of evaluations. And you won 4 games last year. Like, how about we stop talking like you've got 3 all-world talents there? These guys are as great as you say, and you're only winning 3 games or 4 games last year. Like, what? Come on, man.
Well, I mean, all things being equal, you can have 3 Hall of Famers on a team, and not win any games. I mean, football is the true.
I would be hard pressed to think like if I'm on college and I've got 3 Hall of Fame college kids and we're winning 4 games, like I'm just not putting you in the Hall of Fame. Like, sorry.
I mean, the thing is like you can have an amazing Hall of Fame statistical career and just be on a bad team. I mean, that definitely happens. But
I don't feel like any of these guys is that caliber and will be that caliber. And you're really getting all this notoriety because of Dion, not because of like the play on the field. Shedeur did start off good last year, but then it just kind of ended up, terrible. Travis Hunter was great at times, and then sometimes they were getting torched out there, when he was the lead person guard. So it's like, I don't know, it's a weird power play. I want to hear from them. Like, I'm tired of hearing from Dion. I want to hear from them.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna. I don't think he's gonna allow them to let you hear from them.
We're gonna get Mr. U to call them up.
I got his number. You guys probably reach him better than I can. I mean,
I feel like you're the right man for this job.
If Washington and Oregon were not inside this conference, do you know what kind of win-loss record this whole conference would have? And you played them and you won 4 games. Seriously, we shouldn't be talking about this. We shouldn't be talking about this. This is not a discussion because you guys didn't do that much to put these kids on a pedestal that they don't need to be on. Really,
to be
that's
fair,
too much pressure on them. These are still young kids. It's not fair to say that.
No, because you just kind of shot down what the rest of the Pac-12 did. You got to remember, halfway through the season, 9 of the Pac-12 were still in the top 25. Like, they weren't bad teams.
No, I didn't say they were bad teams, but it wasn't like you were playing in the SEC or something.
No, I mean, it was.
You won 4 games.
You had 9 of the top 25 in this conference. Like,
this was
years past where there was 2 good teams. I mean, you legitimately had a lot of good teams that they were kind of coming up short against. Now, in years past, I would agree with that. It just happened that this last year of the Pac-12,
they all put their best foot forward for the last year.
No doubt.
Awesome.
Like, they came out swinging.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that being said, you still got to win more than 4 games if you're telling us that you guys are world beaters and all of this. Because, I mean, I think the thing that hurt them the most was their season opener against, a team that was in last year's national title, and everybody just glossed over the fact that half their team left.
Right. Yep.
They're like,
and they were like 21-point favorites, so that just started off bad. Then they win 2 more, and it's like, oh, they're world beaters, and that it inflated way too many expectations.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because it's Dion, you get the cameras on it, and there's so much media attention and all of that. And I mean, we talked about it, right, on our shows, respectively, like, because it was an interesting storyline because you wanted to see what was going to happen. And then as they continued to tank, not that it was a surprise because, I mean, we pointed it out all throughout the year that they, didn't have a run game and, came up small on defense. So, I mean, it's not like it was a shock that they flamed out. I think it was more of a shock that they won some of the games they won. And they only won 4.
Yeah. Yep.
But that being said, I'm curious if this team takes a step forward this coming year. Because, I mean, they are going to be losing some kids. It sounds like some kids transferred out.
Yeah, they've got like 8 or 9 in the portal right now. So,
yeah.
And you want to talk about like dumpster fire, Kerwani McClain, I guess he jumped in the portal and they created a space about him, I think last night, and he jumped in, and you should just like hear some of the clips. It's just,
he jumped in the space?
Yeah, he jumped in the space.
Oh,
and,
awesome.
Yeah, he sounds the most like low key, just from the couple clips I hear, and everybody's like yelling and he's just like, bro, it's just not that serious. He's like, like, come on, guy. I mean, I don't know. You would have thought it was the first person to ever transfer out of Colorado, from what I've heard. So
weird.
I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious what it is like inside, inside those walls.
Right.
Because he is kind of an old school coach. And so it makes you wonder how he, if he rubs the kids the wrong way.
Right.
Because, I mean, we were seeing that in the NFL. right? A lot of the hard coaching coaches found themselves without jobs this last year.
All right. I wonder. 3 of the people in the transfer portal right now are DBs. And I would have thought if anybody would have stayed, it would have been that position group. So that's something that I find interesting. It'd be nice to talk to somebody, I guess, more in tune with Colorado stuff, just to kind of see. So
I don't know. It could be one of those situations where he's really good at the position, but isn't exactly the best coach. Could be the Kurt Warner type thing, right?
Right.
Great quarterback, but if he's coaching you, he might mess your mechanics up a little bit.
Maybe so. I'd be interested to know. We're actually we've added him to our team by team breakdown this year. Big Mike's going to do a breakdown of their whole schedule. Oh,
there we go.
You see that, Bo? Just trying to kick us out. Oh.
Nope, wrong button. Just trying to get the thing off the screen. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, switching over to basketball. We got the WNBA Draft and Caitlin Clark. So she goes number 1. This is not a shock, right? And the contract is interesting. Now, it's a good thing she makes a lot of money in endorsement deals because the rookie contract is way less than I thought it was.
Yeah. Now, there are other factors. I mean, the league doesn't really make money for sure. And it's a super short season that gets in there. So those are things you have to take into account. But she definitely, somebody was even posting about it, like her NIL money wasn't all that great because it's actually just straight out endorsements that she was doing, not just from the NIL collective. So she'll be fine money wise going forward. Be interesting to see.
Well, yeah, I mean, the first hug she had was with Jake from State Farm. She didn't even hug her family first. So, I mean, you know where the money was coming in.
Definitely. So, and then they've already they're televising 36 of their 40 games this upcoming year. So they're definitely going to ride the Caitlin Clark wave. So be nice to not have to see her go overseas just to kind of supplement stuff and do whatever. So.
Yeah. So, man, why doesn't that auto switch? It's weird. Yeah, so I believe it will translate to the WNBA, and it's not necessarily because it's just her. It just happens to be that there was a really stacked draft class.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you went in the first round, you're getting a star really this year. This NBA draft class or WNBA draft class was pretty impressive. The team that I'm actually looking for, to be kind of a fun watch is the Chicago Sky, because they end up with Cardoso and Angel Reese. So, I mean, that could be an amazing tandem, and talk about a rebounding nightmare if you're going up against them.
Yeah,
right.
They're going to be that type that just throws the ball up 5 times until they get a bucket. That's going to be it, because neither one of them is super polished offensively, but they do tower over everybody. So you're not going to see great post moves. You're just going to see turn around, throw it up until it goes in.
Reese is a pretty good catch and shooter though. So if she's not necessarily having to, be down low the whole time.
No, Reese is not. Reese's offensive game is not polished at all. She looks very awkward on the offensive end.
No, if she has to create her own shot, yes. But if she just catches and puts it up kind of mid range, she can land that shot.
Not from what I've seen from her. Yeah,
not what I saw.
Yeah,
Cardoso has to be
Cardoso definitely, but she's also 6'7". I mean, and a much bigger body. She's definitely going to bang down low. So
I don't think you want to trade out somebody who is so big, just a foundational defensive player. But there was a lot of talk about why they didn't take Rakia Jackson instead.
Yeah,
I mean, she's a perimeter player, man, elite game, elite shooter. I mean, they had 3 picks. They had the 3, 7, and the 13. I guess. To get Rakia, probably wouldn't have been able to get Cardoso because somebody would have grabbed him before they got down to the second round, which was where all the center would kind of puddle that. So they could have got another center on the Sky, but it wouldn't have been Cardoso, obviously. But that's going to be something to watch because I think the Fever did a good job with putting Clark and Boston together.
Definitely.
That's going to be electric from an offensive standpoint.
Yeah.
I don't know what their defense is going to look like, but offensively it's going to look fantastic.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Rickea Jacksons, it should have did that instead of taking Reese for the same reason that Herb said. We'll see what happens over time, but I got a feeling they may end up paying for that in certain situations. And the Aces are still at the top of their game. I don't know if any of these teams are going to knock them off. They're really incredible, man. So
if anybody comes close, it's going to be the Liberty. I'm sorry.
Who had the second and the fourth? I forget who.
Whoever got Brink and Rickea.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously that's going to be fantastic.
That was those were probably what I think is the Sparks. Was the best overall draft. Getting those two, I like, kind of with what he just saying. I like the inside outside getting those two players. So if you can get a big and get a guard and create their own shot and then score, I thought that was a great draft. And the Fever just kind of, I mean, you're in the most perfect spot where the number one pick is somebody you have to pick. And then it goes, well, hey, I had the number one pick last year and it happened to be somebody who's down low. So these two actually can play together. Like Caitlin Clark's actually missing Boston in her first interviews. I mean, it doesn't fall any better than that. You would have hated like last year if they'd taken a guard and this year they're like, well, we can't pass on Caitlin Clark, so we'll just make it work. No, it worked out as almost as perfect as it could get for them.
For sure. Well, and of course with Clark, you're getting, I mean, an amazing shooter.
Right.
Her ability to score is amazing. And of course,
playmaking as well. Yep.
Yeah. And she can pull up from half court to do it. So, no, I think this season is going to be fun to watch. The thing that's really crazy about it, and I said it on a show yesterday, was you always hear about, really every other level of sports. They're like, oh yeah, you can't overwork them, and they risk getting hurt, whatever. And then you look at the college basketball season. March Madness, right? You get 2 weeks, then it's the WNBA Draft. You get 2.5 weeks, and it's the preseason for the WNBA. So, every other sport's like, oh, you can't do too much. They're going to get hurt and whatever. And this way around, you're like, oh, you just got done with your season? Cool. Here's another one. Yeah. Like, it seems kind of crazy timing wise.
Yeah. And it's always been that whole thing of squeezing the WNBA season into like the summer months, and, at the tail end of the NBA playoffs, and then it's the only basketball, and you're just like, you wonder why the league's not really, growing as much as you want, and that's got to be part of it. I know most people like the NBA draft was all of a sudden just there. They're like, kind of to your point, the season ended like yesterday. The draft is tomorrow. Like, what are we talking about? Exactly. And it's all of a sudden there's no real hype around it. Honestly, until Caitlin Clark, they didn't even seem to care,
Oh, yeah. Well, and the thing that's it was the most televised one ever, right? But the thing that's funny about it is, the marketing machine does such a bad job with the WNBA.
Yeah.
Because you never even hear about it. Like, until I said it on here, I bet you didn't know we were 2.5 weeks from the beginning of the season, right?
To your point, I mentioned that on a show. Sorry, go ahead. But I said that out loud, and nobody in the comments knew when the season started.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. And what is crazy about it is it's not like I live in a state that doesn't have a team, right? We got the Storm. They've won 4 championships. Yep. You know how much I've heard about our WNBA season here? None. Zero. It's zero airtime. That seems crazy to me. And then they're like, oh, well, we want to grow the sport. It's like, do you though? Because the marketing machine sure doesn't.
Yeah. Last year was Sue Bird's last year.
Yeah.
That should have been like, a retirement tour. Like, I just can't imagine like LeBron, on his last year and none of the games. You know what I mean? It just seemed like she just kind of walked off the court. I was like, you don't try to capitalize on anything at all if you're not going to capitalize on Sue Bird's retirement tour. Come on. I mean, retirement, her final lap. I didn't get that at all.
Yeah. I mean, when you're looking at a league that you really don't hear about until really almost the last week of the regular season.
Right.
Now, I get that their season's shorter, but they're still playing, what, 40 games? Roughly?
Yeah.
Right? Really? The last week of it? That's when we're like, oh, yeah, WNBA. It's like, oh, yeah, I should catch one of those. We're like, season's over. Wait, what?
Yep. Yep. And they do like little interest. I mean, they do like the Commissioner's Cup kind of tournament in the middle of the season. Nobody seems to ever know like what's going on with that. It doesn't seem to get hype. It's just like an extra game that they like. The NBA, you know, as much as we might have liked or disliked their in-season tournament, they put a lot behind it. They were like, hey, this is the in-season tournament, different course. If you like, this is it. WN was like, oh, hey, the games that we're playing today, yeah, Commissioner's Cup. Hope you enjoy. You know, it just we said this on the show, all the points that you made. They don't hype their season. They never talk about it year round. Half their players end up having to go overseas to make, you know, supplement their income because it's just not there. Like some of these folks should be in front of your faces, like from especially if the NBA is like subsidized or whatever, they should be the face of your franchise that you see at like every NBA game, have them commentate on like something to keep them in front of our faces. But it's like they go witness protection until the season starts and all of a sudden they all pop up.
Yeah, well, and it's not even when it starts. It's like it's almost over.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is growing, so it's encouraging. It sounds like they are 2 years away from expansion because Golden State is going to get a team, and it sounds like they've already sold out the arena. So that's pretty cool. Now, did they sell it out to StubHub? Who knows, right? Like,
right.
but the tickets are sold, so that's the important part, I guess. So yeah, we'll see. All right, so we got one other topic. I'm kind of throwing a curveball at you, and
Mr. U's the baseball expert, so he'll handle it.
No, it's still on the basketball front. It should be entertaining. Team USA versus the Dream Team. So we will get that right after this break. Stay tuned, and we'll wrap up the show with that.
This is Reggie Jones, owner and founder of Air Sports Academy. Air is based on 4 core principles: heart, education, integrity, resiliency. Air is about developing student athletes physically and mentally through training, mentorship, and effective marketing. We've created a platform and a blueprint for our state to shine in the brightest of lights. I created this program because it was a need for our state. We needed to have the light shine on the student athletes in our region, and now that is happening at an all-time and undeniable rate. We created a lane for the kids in our state to get their college education paid for and set their families up for future success. We created an environment where serious athletes can now come compete fearlessly. We've achieved this through our variety of elite programs. Our 6-month off-season program, where first-year starters or seasoned vets can all come develop. Our 5-on-5 program, which is all about our line. Our youth tackle program, which is the first and only youth tackle team from the state of Washington to ever win a major national championship. Our 7-on-7 program, which is ranked top 10 in the country every year. Our high school 11-on-11 club tackle program, which creates a unique and much-needed opportunity for our kids. Our college prep program, which allows our graduates to come back from college and prepare for the upcoming season. Our track and field program, which creates an opportunity for our young air boys and air girls to continue to get faster. When you're a national program, you receive national respect, which is why when you look at recruiting boards and top player lists from around the country, you'll always find players from Air on those lists. Which is why college coaches from some of the most prestigious schools around the country come into our facility to recruit our players. The Penn State, Alabama, Oregon, Stanford, Florida State, the list goes on. Our players are being recruited, offered, and committing to some of the top schools in the nation. The experience our players and families receive is second to none. We offer a competitive brand of sports at Air. We are the ball. And with that comes great responsibility. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. This is Air.
All right. So here we go. Dream Team versus Team USA. Who do you think gets the dub if they were playing head to head?
Dream Team all the way.
Yeah.
And I'd be shocked if Mr. You disagreed with that one. Like that would legitimately make me fall out of my chair.
Stay seated, sir.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I knew you had me on that one. I mean, where to even begin?
Physicality alone.
Yeah,
just that part. Just the physicality part. Those boys can't even. Man, Kevin Durant be crying. He had to face Christian Laettner all the time.
And he just gave you the weakest part of the team.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
So
I mean, they can't handle that, man. Chris Mullin shoot the lights out of some of these guys. This is bad. This is a dream team for real. I don't know what the left side is supposed to be. That's not.
Yeah. And then you look at like your best players on the left side. You know, LeBron James getting up there in age. Curry probably lost a step. Embiid hurt. And like, where are you going from there? I mean, I just don't see you matching up in any way. And I know, okay, you probably have some better shooters on the left side. I think the right side, if you said, hey, you know, here's the new era of shooting, you can stretch your range a lot more. Like, I think Jordan's going to light you up. Larry Bird's going to light you up. Like you said, Mullen's going to light you up.
I think you would concede that it would be today's rules.
Right.
Because otherwise all these dudes on the left get hurt. So it has to be today's rules so you can get a full basketball game in.
Oh, so then you can't put your hands on most of these guys? Like,
no,
it's just not. And that's, I mean, I'm not trying to disrespect the guys on the left. Obviously, I'll be rooting for them. I hope they do well, but the dream team was the dream team, you know?
Well, see, this is where I look at it, right? It's like, okay, the dream team was absolutely destroying everybody, right? Like absolutely crushing everyone that came in front of them. Team USA, I'm not convinced wins gold.
You're going to need, I mean,
so when I think about it that way, right? Like, I'm not sure if the team on the left wins gold in these Olympics.
How do you fix it? Who do you put on the team to help them win gold? Who are you getting?
The thing is I don't know that there's a good answer for that because a lot of these guys are always hurt or unavailable or whatever. And so I don't know that there's really a good answer for that.
Right. Plus, you also think like who are you?
Shai and Brunson on there, but it's not going to solve the problem.
No. And then you think of like who are your best players missing, like Jokic and Giannis, and they're not eligible for this team. So It's like you're missing. You know, think about who your MVP candidates. Was it SGA? I guess is he from Canada too or something also? Well, I mean, it's like you're missing. A lot of your top players and some of the players that you have. Like you look at LeBron, KD, Steph, older, lost a step, still probably your best players, but you're not sure if you're gonna get it every night. And then, like I already said, Embiid, and then also like with a lot of these other teams, they've played together for the whole year, and they're like, all right, the whole team is together. We're just inserting Jokic versus here's all you guys. We're throwing you all together, and you're not even necessarily all the best in the league. Yeah, but we're gonna throw you out there. So, like, I love Drew Holiday, but I don't know what you're getting offensively half the time, you know? So,
no, Kawhi was not on there.
He was the last addition. They had just posted it because I guess you got 11 there. He was the 12th. They had announced it as the 12th.
Oh, did they finally announce it?
Yeah.
Because there were a few different people that were possible.
Yeah.
Brunson missed out. Kyrie, Jimmy Butler. Brunson scored more than Devin Booker, but Devin Booker's on this list. So explain that one to me.
Say that again. Which name did you just say? I was typing. I'm sorry.
I think Brunson is I think he's third or fourth in scoring, and Booker's like 6th, 7th, and he's on this list. So pretty interesting that he didn't get included. But that's not a Knicks thing. That's just a scoring thing for the season. How do you miss it? How you missed the cut?
I just think Brunson, including by me, has just been underrated. Didn't know how the Knicks move would work out, and Booker's just kind of a bigger name. And I honestly think that's all there is to it. So.
Yeah.
Raj said he might have got injured during the selection process. Yeah. with Kawhi, yeah, you never know.
Yeah, for real though.
Yeah. Got hurt going to pick up the phone to answer the call. But he was announced as the 12th.
Okay. So. Well, I mean, it makes sense. Like the incredibly skilled. He's just skilled.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Right? Like he just had his healthiest year of his entire career.
Yeah.
That makes me think he gets hurt during the Olympics.
During the playoffs, yeah, or during the playoffs. He might not make it to Olympics, so we'll
true.
see. We'll see which one comes first. Rod's a Lakers fan. I don't want to get on too bad. They did win their game, and they are going on to lose to the play the Denver Nuggets.
They are about to get smacked by the Nuggets.
You guys, I'm gonna get some angry text messages this morning. Rodg, I love you. Happy birthday week, man, bro. I appreciate you.
I mean, he can drop the angry comments in the, in the comment section. I ain't worried about it. Everybody knows that they're about to go get smacked. Like it's fine. It'll be the gentleman's sweep, though. They'll probably get one game.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so bad that people were honestly saying, should they lose the first game and try to win the second one to avoid Denver in the playoffs? Which, no, that's a terrible strategy because then you have to win the second game. But I could see why they would say it.
Well, so I thought.
Is it disrespect or is it just
honesty?
It's just how it's gonna go down.
They're not beating the Nuggets, man. I'm sorry, brother. It's not happening.
No, the odds are so low.
My bias is clear, man. The NBA hasn't kind of been on life support since the 90s ended, man. I'm sorry. These names right here, the memories I'm getting right now just flooding over my mind about all these players on that list. That's basketball at its height.
Yeah.
These guys were really good at what they did. You know what I'm saying?
That team was insane.
Man, a dream team. Man, I don't know who you can put in that left column that do better than these guys right here. I don't know who you can find. These guys were still. I mean, this is a blowout.
Yeah, I mean,
this is a mercy killing right here. You kidding me? This
was as accurate of a name as you could have had.
Yeah.
Like it was absolutely that. It was the dream team.
Incredible,
that team was insane.
G-Rob and Drexler. I mean, guys in that left column, they don't give me that kind of feel, man. I don't care what they're doing right now. It's like it's not. Anthony Edwards is awesome, man, but it's just not.
Well, and
it's not working. It's not
when you're looking at this dream team, right? Even if you're taking the scoring out of it, just look at the defense that was on this team.
I'm saying, man, the physicality. It's like it's not. I mean, the 3-point shooting inside here, that alone. I mean, I know Curry can do that. I'm not sure where he's at this season with his health and everything with that, but get Mullen back there and and Stockton. Oh my God, man!
Larry Bird would love the 3-point. The way it's going right now.
Absolutely,
the 3-point shooting by itself, man. They would eat Team USA up with that by itself, and talk about getting down to the paint. Forget about it. Bam ain't got a prayer in hell.
And I like Bam. I got no problem with Bam. I think he's a very skilled big man.
In person, they can't mess with this.
No. I think on this list on the right, like Patrick Ewing and David Robinson are probably very, very underrated as far as what people's memories of that situation.
Absolutely.
So if you think that Michael Jordan's the best ever, it's like you can't really fault Patrick Ewing for not being able to get past him because that was just, the Bulls were tough. Everybody has that one.
Yep.
Michael Jordan kept a lot of people on this list from getting a ring. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, that brings us to the top of the hour. Be sure to tell everybody where they can find you guys.
Rodg Herb on Twitter, X, and the Herb and Rodg podcast, or maybe for 1 week, the Rodg and Herb podcast as we celebrate Rodg's birthday coming to this week. And again, thank you both for the birthday messages. We played last night. It was amazing. He loved them both, and I appreciate you both.
Awesome. Same here, brother. Well, we're on all the socials at They Call Me Mr. U. Of course, you can find us on Monday on our show at 9 a.m. EST. We're all 4 of us are together and here on the Wednesday wrap-up.
Right on. And, of course, you are watching me right here live. So that's where you find me. And, of course, we have a new show debuting later today where it's Coach Bono and me. And we are going to be talking to the head coach of the DC Defenders. See you this afternoon.